got that heat.
Welcome to the Season 5 premiere of the Lakers Locker Room. I am your host, Tajon Graham. Yes, I am back. I know it's been a while since you guys have heard from me, but so much is going on. So I'm back. I'm here. We're ready to go. You know, if you didn't know, this is my last year. I never seen this is my last year doing this podcast, but there's a lot of more things coming through that you got to hopefully stay to hear. So stay tuned in, but I'm back. Today we got a great guest. You know, this is my guy, how can I describe him, man? This guy's a next phenom at Nipissing, man. You know, from the men's basketball team, we got my boy, Darnaz Mabanza. Darnaz, man, what are you saying, bro?
Chilling, bro. Happy to be here.
Is this your first podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. How you feeling?
Great. I feel like I made it. You know, I'm champ now.
Oh, my gosh, man. Man, we got so much to talk to, man, but let's get right into it, man. So, obviously, we just finished our season. It's been a couple weeks since we've played our last game. What are your thoughts on kind of how the season went?
I think it was definitely up and down. You know, I think we could have won a lot more games. I think we let a couple games slip out, but I don't think it was a horrible season. I think we have a lot of learning to do, and a lot of our key pieces have years left, so it's going to be special next year. I think we're going to wake a lot of people up.
You know, you were kind of put in a new position this year, kind of with the leadership point. You know, this is your third year really at university, and you've already kind of seen every role already. Your first year at Ottawa, you were the red shirts. Yeah. You came here last year, you were the bench player, and then this year now you're basically the star. What has that transition kind of been like for you, and kind of how have you kind of taken in that experience and that responsibility at such a young age?
For sure, kind of just not the hardest, but knowing that every year you're pushing to get better, right? So that's the goal realistically. You start at the bottom. I want to get better. Okay, so now I moved up to playing a couple minutes here and there, and now I'm moving up even more. So next year I want to move to playoffs, player of the year, stuff like that, right? And just staying in the gym. I feel like staying in the gym and knowing when your time comes, you'll be ready. If you stay ready, you don't gotta get ready, honestly. So just the work will show when your time is coming. So yeah, I feel like that's how the process has been.
You know, when the season ended and obviously, our point guard last year, Noah, decided to move on. Obviously, that meant you were kind of the next up. What was that kind of conversation like with coach, or was there any conversation in terms of, what was expected even now that you're basically taking over that spot?
Yeah, for sure. Coach kind of let me know, hey, this is where we see you. It's honestly up to you whether you get here or not. And yeah, I knew, I had a vision in my mind. I'm going at people, even last year, I'm I could kill every single one of these guys. These guys can't guard me. But yeah, even just talking to Noah, he's stay in the gym, get your reps up, and just be ready when your time comes. And yeah, that's honestly what the convo was like. Well, you're going to get the opportunity. It's up to you whether you're ready or not. And I feel like I had that in my back of my mind all summer. And I was like, yo, I'm ready. Running hills, running in the gym, lifting. I was like, yo, everything I did, I'm ready for this next jump. So yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about the commitment. So obviously, people that don't know, obviously with this program, you want to stay in the summer, things like that. But your situation was different because you were working back in Whitby and you're going back and forth. So for those who don't know, just kind of talk a bit about that commitment you had this summer in terms of working, going back and forth. Obviously, we're still students. We got to make money, but you still got to play basketball. So talk about that for those who don't know.
Yeah, no. So in the summer, I had an internship with TD. It was a marketing internship. So I had to be in the office twice a week. So I would kind of do Monday, Wednesday. And then Wednesday I would come up most weeks and then come and train here. But on the weekends I wasn't at school, I was back home, I would just get in the gym every day I could, 2 workouts a day. So I get home at 6, eat, shower, clean up. By 7 I'm at the gym, 7 to 8 I'm lifting, 8 to 9, 9:30 I'm getting the ball workout in, and then I go back home, do what I gotta do, sleep, repeat pretty much. Or the days I was working from home, my lunch break, I'd be in the gym. So just finding an hour and a half where I could squeeze certain workouts in, and it made my life a lot easier. So that was kind of the schedule for the summer.
Going back to, continue talking about the summer. Obviously, last year, even though you were a rookie, and obviously your playing was up and down, you still had a good year, obviously winning Team Rookie of the Year. Mm-hmm. What was the one thing, or if there's a couple of things, what was it that you really wanted to work on for going to your second year that you wanted to improve on in the summer?
For sure, yeah. Just picking my spots better, getting to my jumper, and as well as using my 3. I think if I could use the 3 a lot more, it would open up a lot of space on the court. But yeah, just picking my spots, first year, you're kind of just going through the motions in the sense where it's you're seeing how the defense plays you, right? So a lot of people are under me. So how do I get through? I'm going under, create passes, stuff like that. But yeah, just utilizing my 3 to open up the court for me and my other teammates. So I think that was the biggest thing I was trying to work on this summer.
Yeah, one of the things that coach really was doing this year was we had a lot more preseason games, so it was really an opportunity for, a lot of us were in new spots for the first time, a lot of new pieces. Obviously, we had 7 guys leave from the year before, a lot of new guys in this year.
Yeah.
Kind of, from your perspective, what was that process like in terms of intertwining the new guys to the system? Because obviously with training camp, we had a lot of guys from different places. Mm-hmm. You were taking on a leadership role, so coach was asking that from you. So what was from your position, what was it like intertwining those from training camp and the preseason?
It was hard, there's people are at different spots, right? Like some people need more reassurance. Like some people want to play like, hey, I think I should play, coming to a program like ours where we didn't do the best last year. Like you're coming in thinking I'm going to play right away, whether you're a rookie or even a transfer. So just kind of like talking to people and be like, this is your role. Try to be the best in your role. And then obviously it was hard because like I spent a year here, but I don't know the system fully or how like someone like Jack knew it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was kind of hard like having to learn more about the system while trying to teach it for myself. So yeah, I think it was just kind of telling people to stay ready, like be great in your role, and then the whole team benefits really and truly. Whether that's defense, rebounding, like whatever your role is, be the best you can be in that role, and then the rest will take care of itself.
Yeah. Obviously my first year, I had a couple of captains who were kind of in the same position for you first time. They were a little bit older, and those who I talked to this day. What was the biggest lesson that you think you've learned? Because even when I talked to them, they said they learned a lot from ups and downs and things like that. But from you, what was the biggest lesson you learned from being a leader in terms of what it takes, the consistency it takes, even when everyone's getting mad, you got to say, like, what was the biggest lesson that you learned that you hope to take with you next year?
Patience and accountability, I feel like. Patience in the sense where it's like you got people at different levels, right? So if I come off a ball screen and someone makes a pass that I personally wouldn't make, just being patient with them and be like, hey, like, you might need to tell them 4 or 5 times because they're younger or older. They might be coming off the ball screen the first time. And then also holding yourself accountable, right? So as a point guard, like a lot of the team falls on you. So if we're not playing at a high pace or good, oftentimes it's on you. Like you got to figure out a way to get the team to do that. Likewise, as a captain, like you got to figure out a way to get through to people and be like, hey, let's go, like pick it up. So I think patience and accountability was like the 2 biggest things that I hope to take forward with me.
Yeah, one of the things that coach really wanted to do this year was really focus on team camaraderie, and one of the things that he really did was put a lot of money towards us going to Portugal and Spain for a week during reading week. Mm-hmm. What was that experience like? For me personally, that was my first time going to Europe. I got to check that off the bucket list, so I had a great time. But for you, what was it like being able to go to Portugal and Spain for reading week?
That was great. Like I called my dad and he told me like he's been to Europe a few times and it's great to just enjoy it. So basketball aspect was great. You get to play a bunch of great players. That's obviously amazing. But just being in a different country, experiencing new food, like especially being there with your friends and people you're gonna be with for the rest of your life. Really, like some of these guys are gonna be at my wedding and stuff, right? So I think like it was great, like great experience being in a different country, and obviously like when you get to travel anywhere, whether it's even in Canada, like it's a great experience. You always cherish it, so it's great.
Was there any people that either that you already knew, or the new people that you really found yourself getting closer to, or you got to know better, or would you say everyone kind of equally you got to know better during that week?
I think it's tough because me and Denham grew up together, so like we have never traveled together, but like that's like my little brother, So getting to go to Portugal with him was like amazing. Obviously, my roommate Elvin, Nathan, like those type of guys were amazing. But like even like Jack and Owen, like the rookies, like it was very fun because like for the most part, like I'm the same with you. I haven't been to Europe before, so for the most part, we're experiencing it all together, right? So I think just it was even. Honestly, like everyone, I got to know a lot better and see them in a different setting that I probably would never seen them in outside of basketball. Yeah,
what was your experience like in terms of from that staying on that kind of seeing basketball in different countries? Like obviously Spain's one of the top countries in the world for basketball. We had to play a pro team in Portugal for those who don't know. So what was that whole experience like, kind of viewing basketball from a different lens? The people always say basketball can take you over the world, and for us it literally did. What was that like for you from that perspective?
It's real, bro. Like these guys come off ball screens and make great reads. The pro team we played, like when you get to that level, like that's a job at that point, right? Like you can't really afford to have a bad game because that's your money at the end of the day. So I think just kind of being in an environment like that, it was like, yo, like this is where I want to play after I'm done my undergrad. Like this is real. Like you have to be accountable about every action. Like off court matters, how you interact with people matter. So I think that was like really cool to experience. And then just like obviously the physicality of like pro teams, like how they play, what systems they run, stuff like that. Like it was super cool to see, and obviously it's a big adjustment from Canada. I think they think the game a lot more.
Yeah.
Obviously with pros you have like Americans and stuff, but for the most part they're not as athletic as us, but they think the game like a lot better than Americans and Canadians do. So yeah.
It's definitely more IQ than you would think athleticism, because obviously, like you said, Europeans are typically not known to be the most athletic. We have one of our teammates, Ricky, who's from Portugal, right? So even with his game, like it's IQ, right? Versus the States, you got people jumping out the gym, but like they have no IQ, right? So it's a 180. So it's really kind of cool to see from young.
Yeah,
it's really a factory, especially in Spain. It was really a basketball factory.
Like even that PG, their starting PG on the pro team, like he had maybe 8 points, but was killing in terms of reads, coming out ball screens. Like I think he had one turnover. Like he made the right read every single time, and that from a point guard perspective, that's amazing to see. Where it's like 10 times out of 10, this guy's not turning the ball over. That's crazy.
Yeah. No, honestly, like I said, I was honestly impressed with the pro game, because we only lost by 13, but we played so well. Yeah. Alvin went crazy in the fourth quarter. So I think it showed what we can do, because we're playing against grown men and we're hanging with them.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, kind of what were your thoughts on that pro game, too? Because, honestly, first of all, I would say that gym was hot.
Yeah.
I was gassed.
Yeah. I think it was, honestly, like, I talked to the guys, like, some of the pro players after, and it's the same reads. Literally just better defenders, you know what I mean? Like, quicker, more agile defenders. It's the same reads as university. And I felt like I adjusted quick. I think I had, like, 10 and, like, 7 assists, 8 assists. Like, you kind of adjust quick, but I will say it's much more physical. Like they had 3 PGs, and like usually some teams have that, and I don't really feel it, but you're feeling like they're getting into you, they're bumping you all game, you're kind of a ball screen, they're hitting you. Even when they're icing, like that big is a lot better of a defender than defenders we have here, right? So yeah, like it's different. Like they're a lot better. Like you could tell they're pros for sure.
Yeah, a lot. The Wednesday and Thursday of that trip, we were able to kind of have some days off. Obviously, we had a lot of basketball. The Wednesday, we had a full day off going to, kind of Lisbon, kind of where one of our teammates is from. What was your favorite part of either the Wednesday or the Thursday where we're in Portugal and Spain? Kind of just being able to hang out and went to different restaurants. Found out Ricky's dad's, was in the museum. Kind of what was that like?
A lot of walking, but honestly, like it was amazing. Like the museum was sick, bro. Like that was a sick experience.
Yeah, shout out Benfica for that.
Yeah, I just feel like even watching them play, like that, to me that was the best part of the trip. Is just like the bus rides were long, but it was like playing Mafia, being like we just got a lot closer as a team.
Yeah,
and I just like people like me, you, Alvin, Nathan, like Marcus, Denham. We're walking around Lisbon, like, where should we eat? Like, that was amazing. We tried the pastries, we tried that restaurant, like, that trip was amazing. I feel like that was honestly my favorite part, was just walking around, trying to find a restaurant.
Yeah, especially in Spain, because how many restaurants we went to? Probably like 4.
4, yeah.
5. Even you got...
Trying to translate.
Yeah, trying to translate. If you never been to Europe, the food is so cheap. When I tell you that I got a whole burger and fries for like $3, I'm telling you... And it's less greasy too. That's why I like it about the food. The food is less greasy.
Oh dear, yeah.
We went to McDonald's. I know, like, we're going to Europe, but hear me out. We went to McDonald's, Burger King, because near the hotel. And when I tell you, like, there's no grease.
You went to McDonald's. I didn't eat that.
No grease. You didn't eat that?
Nah.
No, I went to McDonald's. I went to Burger King in Spain and Portugal. That thing was like no grease. Like, I was impressed. I was impressed.
Like what you've been hearing so far? Make sure to follow us on IG at Lakers Locker Room and subscribe to our YouTube channel while you're at it, where you can find clips of all our episodes and video content associated with the podcast. Part 2 of the Lakers Locker Room starts now.
So we go to Portugal, we go to Spain for the week, we come back, we do come a preseason game, then our season starts. First 2 weekends we play Queens or Ontario Tech, both weekends.
Yeah.
You kind of were in a weird situation the first week. The first game against Queens, you really had a 0 ball. Not to call him out, but then the next game went overtime. You had 29.
Yeah, 29.
What was? Can you explain to me what happened?
Yeah, no. Honestly, it was just like I just wasn't ready for that Queens game. Like they were physical, like super good team. Like coming off ball screens, they were doing a good job of just being aggressive. I also took 4 shots that game, so like I'm a very I try not to get too high and too low, so like I try to stay middle grounded. So I was like, okay, 0 points, cool. I took 4 shots. I did some good things outside of scoring the basketball. I played with pace, hit people, got some assists, grabbed some rebounds. Like, I was very level-headed. I know, okay, tomorrow I'll be ready for it. I didn't really even stress about it. I went to bed, woke up. I honestly didn't expect to start, but I started. I was like, all right, cool. The game came kind of slow. Like, I was just figuring out the game against Ontario Tech, and then I just caught fire. And I was like, all right, like, I could go to the basket every single time. My jumper was falling. Like, that was one of the games where, like, honestly, like, whoever was in front of me, like, I didn't really see them. Like, I liked every shot I took. I think I missed, like, 2 or 3 shots that game. So, yeah.
I know.
That was honestly the turnaround. It was just, like, staying level-headed and catching fire, I feel like.
Yeah, it just sucked that we lost in OT, but it is what it is. Shout out to Ontario Tech. They had a great season. Y'all made a great run. I know a lot of people on the team, so shout out to Ontario Tech. So no beef, all love. This year was obviously, like, along with obviously playing more, obviously means the recovery is crazy. 'Cause a lot of times you were gassed. Like, kind of, what was that like in terms of, like, really experienced, playing 30 minutes a game, 35 minutes a game consistently? Like, there wasn't many times you were getting a break like that. Like, what was that like in terms of figuring out how to recover?
It was difficult because there was a point where I feel like, stretching and icing, like, I was not doing nothing, honestly, bro. Sorry for my language, but that was like, I'm going into practices sore and stuff. But I think you just kind of got, like, once I had the mindset, it's like, I'm just gonna enjoy the process, like, just what comes with it, right? Like, like, I talked to Alvin, I'm like, this is where you want to be. This is what comes with being where you want to be. You know what I mean? So I was just like, I enjoyed it, stretching every day. Obviously, like, trying to do the best you can, trying to take some plays off, but still be, like, assertive and still, like, be a captain and a leader at the same time. Like, but sometimes you gotta let other people do some things. Saves you energy. So like, I think just, like, learning how to take a few plays off while learning how to recover the best way was definitely, like, a learning experience this year.
Yeah, what would you say is kind of the, obviously now that you're coming back next year, obviously this is my last year, so I won't be back next year. But what is something I know, but got to move on at some point. But what will you take away from your experience this year that you hope to instill in the new guys next year?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just to be a 40-minute team. If we want to get to where you want to be, like, that's ultimately, like, the goal, right? So you got to put 40 minutes together, especially for a team like us. We're gonna have a few pieces next year, but we got to use those pieces for 40 minutes straight. And when guys come in, they got to be ready. Things of that nature. Just trying to get the rookies and the transfers up to speed and be like, this is what we need you to do. Try to get the best you can in this role as possible, as fast as possible, and then hopefully we can, make a playoff push. But I think that's what I would tell the new guys and transfers coming in.
Yeah. We went through, obviously, senior nights. Obviously, a couple weeks ago, obviously, our last home game, we were able to beat Guelph. During the Christmas break, we lost to Guelph and kind of get back, which obviously was my senior night, Jack Haggerty, Jordan Kenning. Kind of, obviously, like, what was it like kind of seeing a couple of guys that you kind of go with, kind of play the last game? What was that experience like? And also, if you're able to, kind of, what was something that you took away from all 3 of those guys that you can kind of hopefully use for either it's life or if it's next year? Kind of, what was that experience like, just being there and just kind of witnessing, like, their last game on the court?
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely, like, eye-opening in the sense where it's like, like, this comes to an end, right? Like, your basketball career is going to come to an end, your university career is going to come to an end eventually, right? So I was like, oh, shoot, like, this is real. You know what I mean? Like, obviously I knew you, Jax, Jordan were gone after this year, but it didn't hit me until, like, that game, right? And I was like, shoot, like, that's ridiculous, right? But in terms of taking something from each and one of you guys, like, I think Jack, to start off with, just having energy every day, being able to just be present in the moment. Like, he's very good at that. Like, whether he's comes from a midterm or an exam, like, doesn't want to be there, like, he's always gonna be the loudest on the court. So, like, I just think having energy in everything you do and just being present is what I'm gonna take away. You, a lot of things. Off the court, like, you've been obviously a great mentor and a great person to look up to, but even on the court, like, honestly, just playing hard and just enjoying it, right? Like, you're someone who enjoyed it to the last minute. Like, you're like, like, I don't have a lot of time left. I'm trying to enjoy it. Just being calm, right? Being okay with it, whatever happens, and just being like, like, I'm here, like, I'm happy. And then Jordan, super wise guy, like, everything he said off the court, even in our team huddles, like, opened my eyes a lot. So I think just his wisdom and knowledge, kind of looking at like situations like okay, this was wrong, but this person might have done this and this. Like, you don't know what he's thinking or coming from. So I think his wisdom and ability to look at the whole holistic view of things is something I'm gonna take away from him as well.
Yeah, and I think that's how it's supposed to be, because even like my first year, like there's people I always say, like I had probably about 5 vets, and each vet served their own purpose, right? So I think when they're gone, like you're supposed to take something from not just them, but I think everybody, even people you're still playing with next year, like everyone, like I'll take something from them, right? So I'm glad that you said that. But like you said, you have to, I think that's one thing that we touched on, which gets to my next topic, is basically like you have to understand that your whatever sport you play like shouldn't define you. Like obviously it's a part of your life, but it should not define you. I think for me personally, like I'm at peace because like basketball didn't define it. Did once upon a time when I was younger, and even up into my first year, but I think with COVID and the stuff that happened in the world and kind of getting involved, it gave me something to look outside of basketball to do. So even now that basketball's done, like obviously it's done, but like I'm not, oh my gosh, like basketball's done, what am I going to do now? Like it's like, okay, on to the next chapter, because that's how it's supposed to be. I think a lot of times talking to some of our assistant coaches and just knowing people, like a lot of people kind of get stuck in that world because that's all they've ever known. So for you, kind of like, what have you started that journey in terms of really trying to find what to do outside of basketball? Because a lot of people don't start. Some people start early, some people start late, some people sadly don't do it, and that's why they're kind of in the identity crisis that I once upon a time talked about like 3 years ago on this podcast.
I started a little bit. I feel like this summer I got into hiking a lot.
Okay. Really?
Yeah, like I don't know, like I just went on a hike one day. I'm like, yo, this is peaceful and fun.
That's new.
And I'm trying to get into reading right now, but honestly, like there's times I look at a book, I look at my phone, like I don't know, but yeah, like I'm trying to figure stuff out, because similar to you, like I'm basketball in my whole life, right? Like high school, I didn't go to parties, I was in the gym all the time.
Yeah, same.
Any chance I could, I was just in the gym trying to get better. But yeah, not like obviously I have a girlfriend now, stuff of that nature. So there's stuff outside of basketball I look forward to, but yeah, I'm a little bit starting that process, but yeah, not all the way there yet, I feel like.
Yeah, you and I are both, in the business program. Obviously, you're more so in the marketing, I'm more so in the entrepreneurship side. What was it for you that got you into business? Because I've told people before, I was in psychology first, then I switched to business because of stuff I did. Yeah. What was it for you? Did you always want to do business and marketing, or honestly, if not, like what was your story like with that?
Honestly, bro, like my brother, I'm not gonna lie, he went to UAuto and he graduated from marketing. He's in law school now. He's about to finish up. But
shout out, big bro.
Yeah, I went to Ottawa my first year. Obviously, was gonna do the same thing as he did, but then I transferred. And then like marketing always kind of called me. I feel like I like the fact that you can collaborate with people in marketing.
Yeah.
More so than like finance or other streams. Like, but yeah, marketing always kind of like interests me. And then yeah, obviously my brother played a big role in that. So yeah.
Yeah, I think the cool thing about the business program is that you're able to kind of. I like the small classes, but I think too, we both did iLead. So what was your iLead experience like? Because right now I'm doing the iLead project that I'll talk about right after this. But what was your experience like doing the iLead program? So for those who don't know, at Nipperson, if you're able to, you can do an iLead program, which basically it's a unpaid placement, but it's really real life work experience that you can get and then get credits for it too, which I think is a unique opportunity. Because a lot of times people have to go away for a year, come back and do it. We can do it simultaneously, which I think is really cool. So for you, what was that experience like, doing your iLead first semester?
Yeah, so leaving TD after my internship, I wanted something within the marketing field, and my iLead was like frontline broadcasting, which is pretty much just a broadcasting marketing gig.
Right.
But yeah, like it was super cool getting to see the sports marketing side of things, and an area I want to work in later on in my life. But it was cool. Like I was like, I got to experience a field I'm interested in, and then also get credits for it. So it was a no-brainer for me. So yeah, it was super fun. At times it was like you definitely felt the stress of like this is like basically an internship, but you have work to do.
Right.
But I enjoyed it overall. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, I think honestly, iLead is a really cool opportunity. Obviously for me, people don't know yet, so I'm gonna keep it very as vague as possible. But basically, doing something called The Road to Convocation. It's basically a docuseries, and we basically filmed our whole season. That's coming out in the summertime. So like I said, if you're real fans of this podcast, keep tuning in, because obviously there'll be stuff that'll be talked about here and there throughout the rest of this term. What was your experience like kind of being able to have a camera crew around this year and kind of be able to, once this year's done, watch it back in a sense?
It was cool. Like you see all like the day in the life and stuff like that, and like it really felt like that. But honestly, I tried to just be present in the moment and then I can kind of look back at it whenever it comes out and be like, yo, like this is what we did as a team. Like that Portugal episode is definitely gonna hit home. Like we had a lot of great memories on the bus. So I just think getting to watch the memories back, which a lot of times you don't, right? Like you don't get to relive moments.
You don't get
like,
that chance.
Even though it's not fully reliving it, like we still get to go back and be, oh, like in a couple years, I'm gonna be, oh, like I was friends with this guy. This is my teammate. Like let me check up on him, you know? So I think that was great, having the opportunity to kind of go back and relive the experience a little bit.
Because a lot of times you have like TikTok and like you have little Snapchat videos on your phone, but like this is like really the first time where you have like a full length episodes, you know, talking heads. You have people talking about it like a real TV show type of feel, right? So I think that's gonna be really cool, especially for me since I'm a senior. So not many people get to watch their senior year back, right? So even like 10 years from now, like once you're in your career and stuff like that, if you're bored and say, you know, let me watch up, you know, this docuseries that I was able to be a part of or create type of thing. So I think that's gonna be the cool thing. I think also too, what made it cool is the fact that coach kind of bought into it because he understands the value of it. Because obviously it's great for the team in terms of getting that exposure, but it's also an opportunity for him too to kind of look back. Maybe he might see something, and if he wants to recruit, say, hey, look, if you want to know what our program is like, check this out. And I think a lot of schools don't have that. I know McMaster is into that. I know TMU does stuff like that. So because it's really a space that people don't look at, which is amateur sports. A lot of times you see the D1s and the NBA, but like when they talk about amateur sports, they talk about more in the States. They don't really talk about it in Canada. And I think the difference with ours, which people eventually see in the summertime, is that it's not just about the sport. You're going to really meet the people outside of their sport, who they are, what's their story. You know, we did that with episode 1, episode 2, like throughout the whole, there's probably be about 9 episodes. Like the thing about it too, because it's called The Road to Convocation because it's about graduating. Like you're going to see like myself graduate. So people forget a lot of times, they think student athlete, they just think the athlete. They don't think about the student part. And this docuseries, I think, is going to be the first where it's kind of like Last Chance U, where you really see the people play their sport, but you see the ending, which is them getting on the convocation stage. So I think that's something that's going to be, you know, really, really cool. You know, winding down this podcast, obviously we've talked a lot, but just, you know, what's kind of your hopes now for next year? I know we talked a little bit about it, but now that, you know, we're kind of in the off season, you know, guys are starting to train, get ready for next year. Coach is starting to see what's next. Kind of where is your mind at in terms of next year? Obviously, you have a lot of guys coming back. I think it's kind of back to normal in terms of not too much of a, as coach says, not rebuild, it's retooling. So what's your kind of mindset for how next year's going to go?
Get on it early, honestly. Try to get everyone up to speed. We're trying to make playoffs, obviously, and then win each game in playoffs, hopefully make it to nationals, but taking it one step at a time, right? So that first month, we're trying to get everyone up to speed and just try to be the best team we can be as quick as possible. I feel like I want to be super good before preseason. So preseason is only just adding to our skill set. So I think just that, having that mindset and then kind of just taking it step by step, right? It's a long season. So you want to take each game step by step, then playoffs step by step, then the Wilson Cup, then the Nationals. So step and I think that's where our mind's at right now.
You know, for those who watch, you know, the video version, you know, the beauty about this podcast, we have a camera. You know, I want to kind of give you an opportunity because obviously at the time I was recording, we just got, you know, OUA awards yesterday. You know, my boy was snubbed from an all-star team. So, but like I said, the beauty about it is that I'm not coming back, so I'm good. But you're coming back next year. I'm gonna be like all the smoke. This is your camera right here. You know, what do you want to say to the league next year in terms of how you coming next year? This is your moment right here. Your camera's all yours, man.
First of all, like shout out to you. You know, your award. Obviously, I'm very happy about that. But like honestly, it's just motivation. Honestly, just taking into the off season. Obviously, I got to get better, put up some better stats, clearly. But yeah, hey man, if it's about winning, we're gonna win next year. So I don't really got much to say. Just I'm very a humble person, and I like to just be silent. So the work's gonna show. That's all I have to really say, honestly.
No, I'm excited to honestly watch next year. It's gonna be really cool. Like, you know, with my senior night, you know, David and Danny, who are old teammates who graduated last year, were able to come back. So it's been kind of cool to be able to be on the other side and watch. I don't have to stress about, you know, 5 balls, you know, 35-3. You know, all those
17s.
those days are over. I mean, it was good because it kept me slim. You know, I keep saying the new motivation now is don't get fat.
Don't get fat. Yeah.
That's the honest new motivation. But it's gonna be fun watching next year. I just get to watch basketball again and be as a fan. Like obviously I'll miss playing, but you gotta move on at some point. And I'm at peace, so I'm good. So we're at the end of this podcast. So we'll do quick hitters. You know, first thing that comes to mind. your top 3 favorite game worn shoes. The top 3 shoes you've ever worn in the game. What are your 3 favorites?
All KDs, honestly. KD 7s, KD 8s, and then 16s.
The 16 are those black and purple ones, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna switch out the KD 8s. I'll put KD or Kyrie. I don't know which ones they had. I think they're 4. Kyrie 4 lows. I wore those last year. I love them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Top 5 artists on game day.
Youngboy. That's all I listen to. No one else.
That's it?
Youngboy, and then Bible, pray, go into the game. That's all I do. I don't really listen. And it's only a couple tracks.
No, that's fair. You got an all-time favorite album?
Nah.
Really?
Nah. I switch up my who I listen to a lot. So nah.
That is very true.
Yeah.
You with pineapple on pizza?
Yeah. For sure.
See? Cause my old co-host, me and Jason used to have a bet about that, and I think
pineapple on pizza is a must, bro. Last time I had pizza, I had pineapple on it.
See, so Jason, if you listen to this, you lost, man. You lost. What's one skill you wish you were good at?
One skill, I'm good at everything.
Oh my god.
Well, one skill.
You can sing?
Nah.
Yeah. See?
Honestly, probably swimming. I can't swim.
Really?
Yeah, stereotype. Can't swim.
Yeah, that's the one thing I'm glad my parents make sure I can swim. My brother can't swim. My younger brother is into swimming, so they learn with the next 2. They learn with the next 2. Yeah, man. Just final question, man. Just one word to describe next year. What's one word?
Special.
I like that. I like that, man. So Darnaz, man, it's first episode back. Had to start off with a teammate, man. So appreciate you coming on, man.
Yes, sir.
Like I said, if you're watching, man, if you're listening, man, keep listening, man. Like I said, I'm 15 more episodes away from episode 100. So if you rock with me, make sure you stay with that guy. I'm gonna have a very special guest for episode 100. You guys have to wait and see. But Darnaz, appreciate you for coming on.
Appreciate you for having me, bro.
And with that said, that is a wrap on the season 5 premiere of the Lakers Locker Room. I want to thank my guest Darnaz Mabanza for joining us. You can find the video version interview on YouTube and listen to the full interview on all podcast streaming platforms. Peace.